Live on CBC, Hockey Night in Canada, brought to you by Ford of Canada on behalf of Ford and Mercury dealers from coast to coast. Ahead and participating retailers and record companies in Canada. The Bank of Nova Scotia with nearly 1,000 branches across Canada to serve you. Welcome to Los Angeles, California, Inglewood to be exact. And behind me is Jack Kent Cooke's fabulous Forum. You've heard a lot about it. We haven't given you much opportunity to see it on Hockey Night in Canada over the years. Tonight, you will get that chance, as this is game number 2 in the best-of-3 preliminary round series between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Los Angeles Kings. Many people think tonight will mark the last game of this season for the Kings, who were soundly whipped in game number 1 at Maple Leaf Gardens. George Ferguson scoring 3 times in the third period to tie a Stanley Cup playoff record as the Leafs won handily 7-3. We go inside in a moment to the home of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and the LA Lakers, the Los Angeles Kings, Jack Kent Cooke's fabulous Forum, as we welcome you again to Hollywood.
Hooray for Hollywood! You may be homely in your neighborhood.
Be an actor, see Mr. Factor, you make your kisser look good.
Go out and try your luck, you may be Donald Duck. Hooray for Hollywood! Hooray for Hollywood! Hooray for Hollywood!
Welcome again to the Forum. I'm Dave Hodge, and we're pleased to have again with us on tonight's second game telecast Lou Nanne of the Minnesota North Stars to give us his look inside the playoffs, and as usual in the broadcast booth, Bill Hewitt and Brian McFarland. Although the first game was well in hand for the Maple Leafs after 2 periods, they held a 4-0 lead. The story of the game occurred in the third period when the Leafs built their margin to 7 goals, 6-0 at one point. George Ferguson was the story, as Ferguson tied the Stanley Cup playoff record. Only 7 goals in the regular season. He gets 3 in one period of a playoff game. The first came early in the third period. Ron Ellis's rebound was lost by Rogie, and Ferguson scores at 2:18 of the third period. He scores his second goal at the 4:48 mark. A big rebound by Vachon, and Ferguson is able to get to it. The Los Angeles defensive play was sloppy all night. Then came the record-tying goal and the hat-trick goal for George Ferguson. He moves in from a bad angle, and this slipped by Rogie Vachon, too, making it a bad night for the Kings goalie and a great one for the Maple Leafs center. The question tonight is, can the Kings combat the Leafs' aggressiveness? Many people think that the Leafs have too much muscle for the Kings. That's going to be how tonight's game is decided, many people feel. Elsewhere in Stanley Cup playoff action, we bring you what will be a surprise to some from Madison Square Garden. Don Murdoch in overtime at the 1:37 mark wins it for the Rangers over the Buffalo Sabres 4-3 to cause a third game in that series at Buffalo on Saturday night. And this will be a mild surprise to some. Detroit eliminating Atlanta. Certainly a surprise that the Wings were able to do it in 2 straight games. Bill Loughead scored twice. The winner late in the third period. Red Wings in 2 over Atlanta. And the Colorado Rockies continue to give the Philadelphia Flyers fits. That game is 1-1 at Denver in the second period. That's the latest score we had from the Mile High City. Back to this game. Rogie Vachon did not play well, and he knows it, and the Kings realize that they must have better goaltending tonight. The Leafs were happy with Mike Palmateer's work. Not so happy with the 2 late Los Angeles goals in the third period, but that was a minor annoyance for Roger Nielsen, who was nothing but smiles after the Leafs totally dominated the Kings. The biggest question tonight will be, can Los Angeles Kings centers get moving? Marcel Dionne had 1 shot on Tuesday night. Butch Goring did not have a shot, nor did Syl Apps. Dionne was well tied up by Jimmy Jones. Obviously, Goring and Syl Apps were nullified. The Leafs play down the middle, led by Jimmy Jones on Dionne, led by Ferguson with his 3 goals. Also Stan Weir with a goal, and the usual great play of Darryl Sittler was a big factor. And so was the heavy hitting that the Leaf wingers were able to do. The Los Angeles Kings have 1 well-known tough guy, if you will, Bert Wilson. A lot of people think he has to set the tone for Los Angeles tonight, and the Kings have little chance. There is close to a sellout crowd, if not 16,005 here at the Forum. They hope to see the Kings play again on Saturday night via television. And we have this one for you. We'll return with our Stanley Cup playoff coverage in just a moment.
I'm a music lover, but I'm no engineer. Right, Stanley? The last time I went shopping for stereo, I was so busy checking out the specifications that I didn't have time to listen to the music. So today, I brought Stanley along. He's an audiophile. Right, Stanley? He checked out the specs while I concentrated on the music. And we both agreed on Sansui. Beautiful engineering, beautiful music. Sansui. There's even music in the name. Right, Stanley? Stanley?
Providing their share of the family income makes a lot of sense to a lot of women these days. And so does buying life insurance. Think about your future and talk it over with a Mutual Life of Canada agent.
Life is a mutual affair.
Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, glorious and free. We stand on guard, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Live from the fabulous Forum, the Leafs and the Los Angeles Kings in Game 2 of the preliminary round. The Leafs captured the first game 7-3 in Toronto the other night, a one-sided affair. Can they make it two in a row? The Kings will have to bounce back if their season is to be prolonged. And here with the play-by-play, Bill Hewitt.
Thank you, Brian, and it's a lot of excitement right here in the Forum at this moment as we prepare for the start of the first period. Brian Lewis is the referee, and there's the linesmen Neil Armstrong and Claude Béchard. Brian Lewis, and there's Mike Palmatier, number 29. We're all set to go. A few exercises, and Rogie Vachon. And play is underway, and the puck is right back to Vachon, right front of the face-off, back of the net. That's Darrell Edestrand getting it over to the right side to Randy Maneri. Up at center, it's shot down the ice. That's going over the red line. Who gets to it first? And it was touched by the Kings. So they keep it in there. Peter Stemkowski's given a bump. There's the shot by Edestrand. That's wide. Dan Maloney shoots the puck down the ice. And Edestrand has to go back for the Kings into the corner, back of the net. He gets it up on the right side. Cleared out to center. Goes all the way down. Maloney goes back after it. Stemkowski bumped into him. Boreas Salming has the puck. Ahead at center ice. Stan Weir, unable to get over the blue line as he was checked at center. Peter Stemkowski was hit by Glennie. Comes out over the blue line. A race for the puck. Lanny McDonald over the line. Back to Stan Weir. And Lanny McDonald's shot was on the short side. Here's Stan Weir coming out in front, right in front of the net. Takes a whack at it, and Roger Vachon pulls it out.
Weir is very angry with himself. He made a fine move to bring that puck out, and again the Kings are sloppy in their own zone, allowing the Leafs to come out from behind that net. They did it repeatedly in Toronto the other night, and Rogie Vachon had to be very alert there. The Leafs came close against the Kings netminder, the veteran Rogie Vachon.
Darryl Sittler with Tiger Williams and Ron Ellis, and you'll be witnessing quite a few changes because the Leafs do not have the change ability they had back at Maple Leaf Gardens. They have to change first. Sillaps, number 14, against Sittler. There's a shot by Ellis. Score! Right from the face-off. Ron Ellis whacked it, and it went over the pad in the corner. The Leafs lead it 1-0. Ellis from Sittler.
We've got to see that again. Sittler got the draw. That was a strange kind of a goal as this crowd sits back in shocked silence now as the Leafs draw first blood here. Roger Nielsen switched Sittler with Weir in the first shift. Got him right back out there again, and here's the puck to Ellis. It was kind of a missed shot. He just sort of shoveled the puck in the direction of Vachon and went behind him. My goodness, 1-0 Leafs.
Leafs with a 1-0 lead and have the puck back in their own end. Trevor Johansson being watched by Tommy Williams, kept in by Gary Sargent, and intercepted by Trevor Johansson to Darryl Sittler. Up with Williams. Williams takes the pass, trying to get into the clear. Going right in and goal! Oh, bad shot. The red light is on. And Williams, no goal.
Was there a whistle as he went down? I don't know why they're disallowing this. The referee, Brian Lewis, well, we'll get an announcement shortly. Williams did a great job, one-handed there. This crowd is in such an uproar, you perhaps can't hear the whistles tonight like we could.
No goal. The puck did not cross the goal line.
The puck did not cross the goal line. Well, let's see. The light went on. There's the play. Oh, it went right along the line.
Assistant number 27, Darryl Sittler. Time 1:22.
1-0 for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Ellis from Sittler at 1:22. 1-0. Toronto Maple Leafs lead.
Time 1:22.
The puck is into the corner. After it, there is Mike Murphy, number 7. Gets it up to center ice to Apps. Apps goes up, flips the puck into the corner. Up there is Bob Murdoch. Murdoch tried to center it. Palmatier covers up and holds on.
Oh, the Leafs very nearly had a 2-0 lead as Williams went right around the defense, hit the post one-handed, and the puck went right along the goal line. And the minor officials who are from Vancouver tonight, the light went on.
Detroit 3.
But the goal, there was ruled no goal because it did not fully cross the line.
Overtime, the New York Rangers 4, Buffalo 3.
Ready for the face-off in the Leaf zone to the left. They have Marcel Dion at center now with number 15, Danny Grant, playing on the left wing. Edistran and Menaria, the two defensemen. Trying to get set here. Moving over number 18, Dave Taylor. And from the face-off, the Leafs gets the blue line, but not out. Menaria's shot. That is knocked down. The Leafs clear the puck out, a flash, and there's going to be a penalty. A first penalty of the game coming up here. Leafs leading 1-0 on Ellis's goal from Sittler at 1:12. Here's the penalty. Grant for slashing.
Time is going to be 1:57.
1:57.
Penalty number 15, Danny Grant. 2 minutes, slashing. Time of the penalty 1:57.
1:57 is the time of the penalty. Darryl Sittler with Lanny McDonald Annie Maloney, Ian Turnbull, and Boreas Salming. Leafs lead 1-0 on a quick goal. Long shot. Palmatier handled that easily. Leaves it for Boreas Salming, number 21. Salming to Sittler. Sittler at his own blue line. Up to the red line at center. Up over the blue line again. And he's hit by Edistran. The puck goes into the corner. Edistran then hit by Sittler. Here's a 2-on-1 for Los Angeles. Stemkowski takes the shot. And the rebound goes into the corner. Boreas Salming. A slash. High stick by Ian Turnbull. And I believe the Leafs run into a penalty. Ian Turnbull. So that evens them up at 5 aside.
Toronto penalty number 2, Ian Turnbull, 2 minutes, high sticking.
High sticking.
2:28.
2:28 the time of the high sticking penalty in Turnbull. And it followed a 2-on-1 rush by the Kings with Stemkowski and Bert Wilson racing down, and they very nearly connected. Stemkowski took the shot, and there was a rebound, but very briefly.
Marcel Dion out there on the forward line out with Taylor, Gary Sargent, and Bob Murdoch. Williams with Jimmy Jones. The puck taken by Brian Glennie. Glennie can't get it out. Dion can't get to it. Williams knocked it, but not out. Cleared by Boreas Salming around on the boards and down the ice. That's going to be icing. As Murdoch will get back and touch it. And
well, the Kings obviously came out here tonight, Bill, with in the mood not to be pushed around like they were in Toronto the other night. They've been throwing their weight around tonight. So have the Leafs. Sittler got in a good hit early in the hockey game.
well, on those 2 scoring opportunities, first the one that Ellis did connect on, and then Tiger Williams missed one.
That could have been the hockey game right there had Tiger Williams scored.
Puck is cleared down the ice. Going back to it, picked up. Shot by Vachon into the corner. Over to the far wing. Out over the blue line to center right. Murdoch gets over the line, was bumped.
Hello again, everybody. We welcome our viewers in Ontario, Quebec, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba to the fabulous forum. The score, Toronto 1, the Los Angeles Kings no score. Goal by Ronnie Ellis. Here's Bill Hewitt.
Back for the Kings over the line, jammed out of the play. Boreas Salming picked it up. They're playing 5 aside. Boreas Salming to Darryl Sittler. Ron Ellis has opened the scoring, and Sittler was hit by Murdoch. And Salming went down. They're really starting to hit one another. Goes down the ice. Glennie's got to go back for it. Behind the net for Brian Glennie. Leafs lead it 1-0. They scored at 1:12. That was from Sittler on a faceoff. Here's Sittler coming to center. A long shot. Vachon steered that into the corner. Number 7, Mike Murphy left it in front. Sittler shoots it back because Turnbull is still in the penalty box. And he has 18 seconds as the Kings are back at full strength. Long shot down the ice. Vachon into the corner. Darryl Edistran gets it up. Butch Goring couldn't get anywhere as Salming checked him. Back behind the net for Andy Maneri, number 2. Andy Maneri as Turnbull gets back on the ice. Teams are at full strength. Ian Turnbull at his own blue line up at center right. Tries to go through. It goes to the corner behind the net. Centered it back all the way down the ice. Lanny McDonald is wearing a helmet with a mask in this first period. Williams shot it for Lanny McDonald. Up at center. Fired over the line. Stan Weir. Lanny McDonald. Lanny McDonald centered it right in front of the net. And it's cleared by the Kings, but not out. Turnbull kept it in. Shot it around behind the goal. That's out of his net. Up along the board. Puck goes sliding down the ice, and Turnbull has to go back for it. 1-0. Toronto Maple Leafs leading in this first period as we have 14:37 remaining to play. Back of the net. Now then, Gary Sargent up on the right side. A clearing pass for Apps over the blue line. Apps into the corner, trying to center it. Still has it. Gets it back to Sargent. Sargent shot one. Palmatier stopped that. The rebound off the board. Comes back and down the ice. Sargent didn't expect it. And Apps shot it down to his own blue line. Back come the Kings again. Sargent shoots the puck in, and that is offside.
Well, just to repeat, 1 goal so far, that by Ronnie Ellis.
From the Fabulous Forum in Los Angeles, this is Stanley Cup 78.
I got a tale to tell about a special cat. Come on, take a look at Mercury Bobcat. Now, this year's Bobcat is really in gear. It has more standard features than it did last year. You can see what we mean when we proudly say it's a lot more Bobcat in every which way. You ought to size one up and go for a spin. You'll find Bobcat's good to be in. It's frisky and peppy and spunky, too. It's got DuraGuard protection. It's the one for you. Get one for a song. Mercury Bobcat. At the sign of the cat.
And we're back to the live action here at the Fabulous Forum as Borje Salming gets the puck, passes it over to Mike Pelech. Pelech shoots the puck in after being hit. The puck goes to Ron Ellis. Ellis let it go. Lanny McDonald after. George Ferguson out there. And back behind the net is Glenn Goldup. Over onto the right wing, and the Kings come up the center. Goldup with a backhand. Here then for Salming. Ellis couldn't get it after standing in front. Borje Salming then over for Maloney. Ferguson and Ellis over the line. Ellis trying to get it to Ferguson. It's cleared by Pelech back to the net. Ferguson is there in the corner. Knocked it behind the goal. Maloney goes up right into Apps. Mike Pelech keeps the puck in, knocking it behind the net. Wings pour in after their checks. And finally Murdoch gets it up the center. Went by Dion. And Salming recovers over to Mike Pelech. Pelech to Jimmy Jones. Jimmy Jones tried to go through, and it was knocked down by Darrell Edistrat. Long floating shot. Came dangerously close to the front of the net. It does, and it's picked off by Mike Pelech. And he blasts it out to center right. Edistrat back for it. Played up by Murdoch. Over the line for Danny Grant. He's checked, and Ian Turnbull. Ian Turnbull, 4 of them. Over the line, closing in. Back to Butler. Butler takes his shot. And right behind again.
They're going to rule that Boutet was in the goal crease. And now Boutet's in a scrap out there with number 18, Dave Taylor. And we've had all kinds of things happen here in this first period. The Kings are in a snarly mood tonight. They've been hitting particularly Darrell Edistrat on defense. He's dished out some lovely body checks. 1 goal scored so far, that by Ron Ellis, his first of the playoffs this year, is 15th in playoff activity overall. At 1:12 of the first period on a weird kind of a shot right off the face-off. We'll catch that a little later. Right now, they've got them separated down there, and we'll have additional penalties. That's twice the red light has gone on at the Kings' end already. Once when Williams left one right on the goal line and they disallowed it. This time, with Boutet in the crease, they have apparently disallowed a goal.
Tonight's Stanley playoff game is coming to you from the Fabulous...
Fever, featuring Miko and Star Wars. Tavares.
Must be missing an angel.
Donna Summer. In the stores now. 2 record sets, $6.99. Tape or cassette, $7.99. Keep your Saturday Night Fever alive all week long with Disco Fever. Fever.
5 minutes fight.
Pat Boutet. Well, here's the goal, first of all, by Ron Ellis. Look at this shot. A lob shot that got in behind Rogie Vachon, just caught the inside corner, And now we have the fighting penalties called here. Boutet and Taylor 5 minutes for fighting, and Boutet gets an additional roughing penalty. That's a minor. So he gets 7 minutes. Taylor gets 5. And Jim Gregory just came down the steps beside us, very upset that that goal was disallowed, with Boutet called for being in the crease by referee Brian Lewis.
Well, that's an oddity, 2 of them in a row.
We repeat, the minor officials from Vancouver tonight.
12 minutes and 28 seconds remaining in the first period. Toronto leads 1-0 on Ellis's goal, which you just saw from Sittler at 1:12. Leafs will be short-handed because Boutet picked up the minor as well as the major. So Valakat has to come over to the penalty box and set out the 2 minutes. Now we're all set to go. Butch Goring at center. They have Bob Murdoch, Gary Sargent, Tommy Williams, and Mike Murphy. And the Kings move to center ice. Stopped by Glennie, shot over the line. Moria Salming shot it back out again. Sargent knocked it down with his glove. Gary Sargent up to Goring, over on the wing. And Marcel Dion is out there now, shot it in. Moria Salming then to the blue line, but not out. Murphy missed it. Ryan Glennie then for Jimmy Jones. He got it out. Harry Sargent at center right. Over to Dion again. Dion trying to pick his way in over the line. He was bumped. Puck goes to Gary Sargent, over to Murphy. Murphy to Sargent. Over it. Shot by Dion, and that was stopped as Salming got in front of it. Gary Sargent over for Dion again. Dion back to Sargent. That was shot wide on a deflection, and Jimmy Jones has lost his stick. It's broken. Comes back to Sargent. Over to Dion. Dion getting set. Past it. Comes back. Dion still with it. Trying to get a man in position. Gary Sargent to Dion. Dion gets his shot. Palmatier stopped that. Butch Goring shot it back to the blue line again. Jimmy Jones still hasn't got a hockey stick. Comes over. Glennie fell in front of him. Comes back to Sargent. Over it comes. There's the shot. And that's high. And down the ice. Jerry Butler races after it. Butler over the blue line. He's got the puck going right in. Oh, as the Leafs with Jerry Butler near to get loose. And Vachon made a good save. 10 minutes, 36 seconds to go in the first period. 1-0 Toronto. Shot in behind the net, into the corner. Back out on the ice, Valakat. So the minor penalty is up. Now here's Ron Ellis. Over to Ferguson. Over the red line. Over the blue line. Trying to cut in. Passed it behind the net. Goes into the corner. Valakat ran into his man, and the puck goes to the far side. Up at center ice for Apps. A long shot, wide of the net. Valakat